So we're talking about Root, and I got a chance to play it, and it was fun. I like the old school feel to it. So let's just start. Well, first of all, we're joined here by Will, Harrison, and Ian. Thanks for coming on and joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so first, just set up the game for us for people who didn't get to check it out.
Who wants to go? I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. Root is a stealth first-person shooter. It's about a expert hacker named Edward Summerton. He's infiltrating the networks of a very mysterious, collusive organization in order to gain root access to destabilize it from the inside. And you play the game inside of a computer, and it's his perception of hacking. So all the enemies you fight are security programs, and all the obstacles you face are, say, like firewalls, or you need clearance and stuff like that. So, but it takes a kind of blend of old school first person shooting mechanics with some kind of new, interesting stealth mechanics.
Yeah, what was cool was one of the first things that I kind of got a feel of when I first walked in was like the old Wolfenstein. It kind of had
Yeah.
like the blue look, and what was cool is that really when you talk about having to play your way, like you have to use stealth, is one of the things I was thinking is like, all right, let me see if I could just go in and shoot. And it's like, yeah, that's true. You can't just go in there guns a blazing, because if you do, the security programs will come out, and they'll be smart about it. They'll come from one side or the other, and you can't just go guns a blazing, especially right away. Um, did you specifically want to make it so that, hey, some other games tell you, oh, you can be stealth, but you can also go guns a blazing, and sooner or later you can take enemies out. But here you actually have to think about it. If you want to be stealth, you really have to go that stealth route.
Yeah, we wanted to make it so that you could do either, but if you did decide to go in, loud, then it would be hard.
Yeah.
And it is entirely viable to play the entire game without ever sneaking, but it's harder.
Yeah, it was a lot of work to get it balanced where you could play both ways. But we kind of think root at its finest is when you're doing a combination of the two. So, like, say you open up a door and you go in and see two guards, and you just go and guns blazing, get some headshots. That's a problem because you're going to have the rest of their entourage just bursting in through every door, window, and crevice to take you out. So if you shoot them, you can just kind of slip away into an air vent or something. It just kind of feels really nice. Feels like you're in an action movie.
And
Yeah,
if you are sneaking and you're discovered, it's not immediately game over. If you're good enough at the game, you can still shoot your way out.
But at the very beginning, we don't even start you with a pistol. So stealth is encouraged kind of right off the bat. So you got to knock out a guard, take his gun. Uh, Otherwise, it's a bit problematic.
yeah, and even the stealth aspect in the beginning is cool, because like when you're using like the blackjack, you have to hit them directly like in the back of the neck. 'Cause I remember in one part I missed, and it's like, oh, you hit it, and they turn around, and you're like, oh shit, and you pull out the
Yeah.
gun, you have to start shooting, and then when you do that, it changes the dynamic of the game, because now you have the chance of alerting the guards. And another thing is that if you do knock out the guards, they can get back up. So then you have to remember, if you have to backtrack or you have to come back, you have to remember, oh, they'll get back up and patrol. So that's a cool element to that as well.
Yeah, so you do. It's interesting because you gotta plan out how you go about things. Because, like, say maybe if there's a clearance in the other room, but you need to go this way. If you knock him out, he might be up in 30 seconds or so. So, I mean, you can take him out with your gun, but it's gonna attract guards. So it's you gotta play a little calculated. Makes you think.
Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about the level design, and about the accuracy of the accurate guns?
You talk about the guns.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So the guns are very accurate, as you might have noticed. You just have a little dot right in the center of the screen, and that's exactly where the bullets go. Um, and that is pretty crucial to the way the game works because all the enemies, they have pretty high health. You can't just shoot them a couple times in the gut and they'll go down. If you're going for body shots, you're gonna spend a whole clip taking one guy out, and then he's got three friends showing up, so you're gonna die. So you have to take headshots, and to get headshots reliably, you need an accurate gun. So the guns are very accurate.
Yep. And as far as levels went, it was very difficult to get it to where you could play both entirely stealth and action. But I feel like we've kind of struck a nice balance with it. So, say if you're one of those sneaky types, there's a lot of air vents and maybe hidden things you can look behind. And actually, the majority of the stationary objects in the game are translucent. So, say if a guard is halfway across the room, you can kind of see them coming your way. So it kind of gives you an idea of maybe how you need to plan your route, or if maybe you're back to a corner, you can decide that, hey, I'm just going to grab this plant off this desk and throw it halfway across the room and distract them with the noises and stuff. So there's a lot of ways to play levels, and the further you get, the more branching they become. Earlier on, we just kind of try and shoehorn you into the end, so you're just learning the mechanics. But as it goes, we start throwing new enemies and like environmental hazards, and eventually boss fights. So yeah, it kind of evolves as you do.
Now, as far as having the old school feel, like I said, like the even design, the way you pick up items, you throw around, moving around boxes to get through the vents. I do like the fact that it's not you can just use the vents to snipe from it, because there's like some games where you do that and it becomes even too easy. I remember playing some games like that. So it does, when I was playing it, I play a lot of these games and it wasn't just easy, and I like that it had that difficulty factor. Was there games like old school games that you played in the past that gave you an inspiration, or that you use for your ideas to in designing this game?
Um, there's actually quite a few. We're a big fan of the old id games, so like say Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake. As far as stealth games, there wasn't really anything quite like Root. It's kind of a blend of a bunch of different things.
Yeah, the way the stealth in Root came about, the blackjack was inspired by Thief. But as far as most of the stealth mechanics, I basically just was looking at games that had stealth in them, like Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and other first-person shooters that had stealth components. Metro 2033, and I didn't really like the way they did the stealth, and I basically just thought, how would I do it? And it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it's got the first 5 levels have this kind of James Bond Die Hard feel, where you're just this ordinary human crawling through vents and just trying to snatch key cards off of belts and go by undetected. But it eventually gets to the point where you can't knock out certain enemies because, say some of them don't even have necks because they're just floating headless horsemen with swords and lanterns and stuff. So it gets a little bit crazy later on, but probably say if it was influenced by any stealth game, probably Thief.
Yeah, and I also liked the dialogue. I thought that was cool, like, and even that you can turn it off. I mean, that was a nice little additional thing, having that. But, in the beginning, having a witty dialogue and stuff, I thought that was really cool. And even the tutorial, I love when you get to the bottom, it's like, oh, important information, and you're in the bathroom. Little touches like that, I thought that was really cool.
Vaguely witty dialogue.
Vaguely witty, yeah.
Vaguely witty dialogue. No, it's cool. I think that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, Shell, for those who are just tuning in and don't know who Shell is, he's kind of your companion who kind of helps you throughout, but for the most part he just kind of rambles on about nonsense, and occasionally he'll let you know a little bit about the story, but for the most part he usually tells you things a little bit too late because he's kind of careless. It's like, by the way, I know you just got through 3 levels and you died a lot, but you should probably go for headshots. You probably already knew that, though. So
most of the actual plot takes place at the very beginning and the very end, and then everything in the middle is just kind of like
just witty banter and kind of Shell being a jerk.
Yeah, maybe slightly irritating.
But it's pretty interesting.
So the game's out now, and you can get it for Windows, PC, and Mac, and they can pick it up on Steam, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.
Steam, Green Man Gaming, and Humble Store.
I've got to ask, how far did you get? What level did you get to?
Well, unfortunately, because of my schedule, I only got to the 2nd level, but that's because I was trying to run around so much. I kept getting shot because I was trying different things. First, I tried to do the run and gun approach, then I tried to do the stealth approach, and I just kept getting shot. And I
Yeah,
and that's why I said I was surprised at how difficult it was, especially once you alert the guards. I was like, man,
yeah. There is a bit of a learning curve, but once you do finally get the hang of it, it is a blast. I mean, we even threw in a little par system. So, like, say we have like times that you should be able to complete the level under, and like it will keep track of like how quick you did it. And the better you get, it's better like for speed runs and stuff like that. And you eventually kind of learn the layouts of the levels.
It
It
also
gets
keeps track of how much you've been detected. So there's like an average, like amount that most people get spotted by, but then you can try to do it in zero.
But yeah, once you get the hang of it and you start getting to the later levels, you start fighting bosses and kind of crazier enemies, and it gets pretty cool.
I think that's probably the best feature of the game is as soon as you think you've kind of figured it out and you've got the hang of it, we put something new in there that's going to kill you in a different way. And then you've got to learn how to deal with that.
But
yes,
once you beat it, you feel good because like you earned it.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially like when you die and then you come back, the placement of the enemies is not exactly the same. So it's not like you think, oh, I know exactly how I can just run back and do it. No, it's like it doesn't work quite like that. So even that, ups the difficulty and it makes it where it doesn't get where you think you can just, oh, I'm gonna come back and do this really easily.
yeah. I would compare the gameplay in a way to the Dark Souls series. It's really hard, but you get a little bit better every time. And then when you finally do move on to the next area, it's really rewarding. So yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be playing more of this game, and I suggest that you guys out there watching this pick this up. The game's root, and you guys can pick this up, like you said. You can pick it up on Steam, Green Man Gaming, and on Humble. And so go get this. I like it. I'm sure you guys will like it, especially for you guys that are fans of those classic type FPS games. So, guys, thanks for coming on and talking to us about the game.
Yeah,
All right,
thanks, man.
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.